Mami.
Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to the Adia Pena Show. It's me, your host, Ohima Adia Pena, and with me in the studio is our usual guest, Mr. Kofi Opoku Apo. Today, our topic is very simple. I hope we don't take too much time, but whatever happens, that's fine. We are going to discuss men and women who are better listeners. So if you can hear me or you are listening, send in your comments, your questions, whatever you think it will be meaningful for us to learn from. Send it to us through the comment section and we will attend to them appropriately. So welcome to the show, Mr. Kofi. Welcome to the Adia Pena Show.
Thank you, Ohima Adia Pena. And thank you also to our viewers that will be joining us, that will be listening to this program or watch the video after we are all done. Thank you for those that will be joining in late. Those that are already here, we thank you. Wherever you may be joining us from, whether here in the US, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Asia, Canada, Australia, UK, wherever you are. And I know certainly, of course, people from Ghana also be joining us. So we want to welcome you all to the show. And as always, we thank God it's Friday. And so then it means that we are coming here to do one thing and one thing only is to share ideas, and without you guys' questions, like Adia Pena said, your questions, your comments, your contributions, this program wouldn't be lively. So we want you to always feel free to send your questions, your comments, your concerns, and everything, and let's have a good time together. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Adia Pena, are you ready?
Yes, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready. I have been ready. So
that is good to hear. And also to the viewers, if you can please, as we always ask, if you could share the links, or just text your friends and your families and let them join. They should all come on. We are all building a community here, a community where we meet every Friday to learn about life. Very important life lessons. That's what we're doing. So you want to share the links so people can join. That would be very, very, very helpful. So I encourage you to go ahead and do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kofi. So, like I said earlier, today our topic is men and women. Which one of us is better listener? Which one listens best? So, Mr. Kofi, what makes someone a good listener? That should be my first question to you. What makes someone a good listener?
Thank you, Adia Pena. In fact, this one, it has to be, I don't know if we have to do like in a debate setting, but if we are going to do is, I know it's a discussion, and I'm going to be very, very clear right now to all our listeners that because I'm a man, I'm going to say that men are good listeners. That is just my stand. But that doesn't mean women are also not good listeners. But if you ask me in a simple 3 or 4 or 5 words, I'm going to say men are good listeners, period.
Okay.
But like I said, there are women that are good listeners also. And as a matter of fact, there are a lot of studies that shows that men and women can be both good listeners and bad listeners. Okay, it all depends on a lot of things, and we are going to see some of the things that makes someone a good listener, like you said. So for me, I'm going to give a little bit based on what I know, what I've read, what my friends have shared with me. Like, as always, I have to gather the information before I come here. So I'm lucky I have a community of supporters that actually share their perspectives with me. So one of some of the few things that I gathered, okay, is that to men, like I said, in my biased opinion, men are good listeners. But this is
Okay.
what make men good listeners. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Um, a good listener, or as a man, me myself being a good listener, I always make sure that I am really involved in the conversation by keeping eye contact, like what I'm doing right now, even though I'm not there with you in the studio, but I had to keep my
Mm-hmm.
eye contact. I had to
Okay.
nod. I had to agree with you. I had to say things like, oh, I see, I understand. I had to be part of the conversation and actively engage in the conversation. That is one of the things that that is one of the things that identifies somebody as being a good listener. And I know men are really good at that. I know some women too are really good, but a lot of time women are just nodding, but their mind is getting ready to fire back 50 million questions. So they are not actually listening. The second thing I want to say is that as a good listener, we also had to use body language. Your body
Mm-hmm.
language speaks volumes. And as a good listener, using your body language means that you are friendly and you are welcoming, and it shows whoever is talking that you are interested in what they are saying and you are paying attention. Like
Okay.
this discussion we are having, Adiepena, I know you pay attention, right?
I
So that
am.
makes you a good listener. So kudos to you. So for you, you're a good listener. So I'll give you a pass on that. Another thing that I have to say, a good listener is non-judgmental. There are some people before they even start having a conversation with you, they're already looking at you and having 50 million things in their mind, thinking of, even though they don't know anything about you. But
Yeah.
if you're a good listener, or what makes somebody a good listener is someone who is non-judgmental, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Yeah.
have to jump to hasty conclusions or make quick judgments about what the speaker or the person that is talking is saying. You just need to create a safe space for open conversations. Another thing I want
Okay.
to say that makes somebody a good listener is the person asks questions. Okay, if the
Mm-hmm.
person that is listening is not sure or clear about what the other person is communicating, the person can ask questions to make sure that he or she really understands what the speaker is saying.
Mm-hmm.
This also shows that you care and you help the conversation go deeper. All right. Another
Mm-hmm.
few things that I'm going to add to it is that a good listener is patience. Some of us, when we're having a conversation, you are not even patient. You are not even listening. Open temp to just come and ask questions and interject. And so you are so impatient. And I know a lot of women are like that. And so are the men, but women are mostly impatient when it comes to being a good listener. So a good listener has to be a patient, has to be a patient person, or you have the patience to actually listen to what the speaker is talking about without interrupting, right? You
Mm.
know that it's important to give the other person his or
A
her
chance.
time to share her thoughts or his thought
Mm.
without interrupting her. So that is one of the qualities of a good listener. Another one is, a good listener is somebody who empathizes. And this time I'm gonna say men are really bad. We suck. I'm not saying all men,
Yay!
but most men, we suck. We don't know how to empathize. That is not in our
Okay.
DNA unless we are being taught. So, but
Okay.
again, that doesn't mean that men are not good listeners. But a good listener must have an empathy. He or she
Mm.
should try and feel what the other speaker is feeling. You have to try and put yourself in the other person's shoes to know or feel what is going on with the other person. All right, so that you can actually understand the person's point of view. This means that you can imagine being in the other person's situation, and then it can help you respond kindly. And then finally, what I want to say is that a good listener is somebody that that is reflective. As you are listening, paying attention, you are reflecting on what the person is saying. You are thinking about it. All right. And I know that the men that I know, they like to repeat or I wouldn't say the men that I know. A good listener try to repeat or summarizes what the other person is saying to make sure he understands what is being said. Okay. And so these are some of the things that a good listener is supposed to have. These qualities makes you a good listener. And most of the things that I've said, I feel like men have most of it and women have only one. Women are very empathetic, which is good. But the rest, men are way better. That's my opinion. But again, both men and women can be good listeners. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Kofi. Welcome on the show, Mr. Bete. I miss you. Mr. Bete is here. So I know you are going to send in your comments, your questions, your concern, whatever that is, we are waiting. So today we are discussing men and women who are better listeners. So Mr. Kofi has said a lot about the men. On the other hand, I'm going to say a little to add to what Mr. Kofi said, which the women we have covered all that he said. I'm just going to add a little. So studies have shown that no one is actually better than the other. Like men are not better, women are equally not better. But I think the women are a lot better than the men in the sense that women, okay, one, we multitask a lot. A woman will be doing 1,000 things, and at the same time, she will be listening to you attentively. She will give you that equal, unneutralized answer to whatever you are like talking to her with, whatever you guys are talking about. As much as she has something doing and something is going on with her, she still has the time to listen, and that is a plus. Women, as Mr. Kofi, you said, they say we are emotional beings. Okay, we understand. This makes us like empathetic, so we are able to like put ourselves in your shoes when you are talking to us. We will be listening attentively, and we will give you the answer that you need to hear. Women are naturally, we are active listeners in the sense that we pay attention to whatever, and then we will be giving you, we'll be like, oh really, oh okay, so that we want to entice you to like talk more, because we are exhibiting the attitude of listening to you. We women also per research and everything, they said we use our double hemispheres we activate our double hemisphere, which the men, I believe they use only one. I believe the one on the left side. So it's hard for the men to like pay attention, especially when you are talking with them. The women here can attest to it. Say, you don't pay attention. You kind of like, and then the other one too is also doing something else. And I said, if I say then it goes out the other way. So this I'm going to summarize it by saying, with all that I have said, women are better listeners than men, from what I have studied a few hours ago. So thank you very much. Mr. Bete said you are, oh, okay. I think you said something, Mr. Bete said you are right. Said, Mr. Bete said, we pay attention when the person speaking is making sense. Oh, yeah, that was.
Amen, Mr. Bete. Amen to that. When they are making sense, we pay attention.
How do you know the person is making sense? Maybe your level of thinking is different from mine. The way you understand certain things is different from how I understand. So you can't just be. This is when you are being judgmental, Mr. Bete, by saying when the person is making sense. So me, let's say Obi is like she doesn't like have the ability to think like you are thinking. So they all cannot. You might think say it doesn't make sense, which is very, very normal with men. A lot of the men, like the year can be and you'll be like, oh, it doesn't, although you kind of like show attitude, be say you are listening, but when himself, you yourself, you know you are not listening. You giving dead ears to whatever the person is saying, but you are like shed that maybe to prevent conflict or something, then you be like, oh sir, oh, but you are not listening. That is how you
Okay.
the men, some of you act.
Adiapena,
Until,
I think that
yes.
what okay. I also think that this is what Mr. Gbete is just sharing his perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
And
I
he's
wouldn't use the
entitled to
term
it.
judgmental. Mr. Gbete is
Okay.
sharing his perspective that this is what he thinks it's happening. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when he's listening, having a conversation, or somebody's having a conversation based on the response and the output, he might think, okay, this doesn't make sense to me. That is to him. That doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
he's judgmental. So again, this is coming from a man. So men sometimes we say things, we are not being judgmental. We just want to express our perspective in a way that makes sense to whatever is being communicated. But and also to add that you said women use both hemispheres of their brains. You're talking about the
Mm-hmm.
brain, not the hemisphere.
Yeah.
Okay. I know men use the left hemisphere of their
The
brain
left
and
side,
women use
yeah.
both.
Makes you
Okay.
hard to
I
listen.
understand. I understand. But that doesn't mean that women are better communicators or better listeners. Because again, like you said, studies have shown that no, both men and women can be good or bad. But
Mm.
outside the studies, what happens in relationships, what happens at home, we realize that women tend to ask more questions. If women always want to have the last word, you know why? Because whatever
Why?
you say, the women want to ask why. The women want to be. If you understand the question, you will not come back and ask why. So
Mm.
that's why I'm saying women are not better listeners, because if you listen attentively and and you understand what is going on, and you don't tune or you don't wrap yourself in that because women, like we know, you're empathetic. As soon as the conversation starts, you wrap yourself you are in an emotional state, and everything is being discussed. You listen, you are understand it through that emotional state. And so there are 50 million questions getting ready to be fired because you're already emotional. That is something that it can be simple and straightforward. It's going to be so complicated because once you take that emotional standpoint, it makes the conversation it makes the conversation taking on a whole new meaning. That is why we are saying that you guys are not good listeners, because you have more questions ready to fire back than actually answers. Okay, again,
Okay.
this is my perspective as a man. It doesn't
Okay.
mean all men are the same, but I mean, when you go, generally, men are better listeners than women.
Okay. The reason why we come back with questions is that sometimes some of the things you guys think say we are like we are okay, and we want to have like a detailed something about whatever you are saying. So we ask the question so you can explain yourself. It's not like we are ready to fire back 10,000 questions to whatever. Listen, Seth Nate said women talk too much. Seth, you
Amen
better
to that.
Seth, you better be
Said, I
careful
agree with you.
whatever
Women
you
talk
are
too much.
responding. Women, we don't talk too much. It's just like I said earlier, we need explanation to certain things whenever you are talking to us, and you guys think the way Momotinia may be asking is different from how we understand certain things, right? So when you are saying or you are talking about something, we want to have a detailed definition or detailed meaning to whatever. So that makes us ask more questions so we will understand you more and then give you the
Okay.
deserved answers. So that's how it is. Mr.
I agree
Gbete.
with you, Adia Pena.
Mr. Gbete said, will you come to pay? Will you come?
Would you
Oh, sorry.
continue to pay
Will you
attention?
continue to pay attention to who?
A habitual liar? No,
No,
absolutely.
no, no, no. There shouldn't be. No, Miss Agbete, don't divert the conversation. No, I say there's nothing like habitual liar. Who is a liar, Miss Agbete? Did somebody like me?
So this is
Don't
what,
come,
okay, so to
don't come back
summarize
and
everything that you and I have said so far, right? Men and women are both caring. I mean, sorry, can be good listeners, right?
yeah.
But because society knows that women are more often seen as the more caring and
Mm-hmm.
are in touch
And
with their
it's
feelings,
a fact.
it makes people think that they are better listening because they are in touch with their feelings, right? Especially
Yeah.
when it comes to like the social and emotional issues. When most of the things that the discussion is about social emotional, women are more listeners because they are in tune with their caring nature.
Oh.
That is who they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, I would say men. See, this is it. Men, we tend to focus more on getting things done and solving the problem, right?
And
And
you
so
want
sometimes
it
it makes us seem like
faster
we
than
are less aware and unemotional.
unemotional. Mm-hmm.
We just want to understand what's going on and maybe help solve the problem. And so society might think that, oh, we are not emotional and we don't care. We do. We just want to make sure we understand and solve the problem. Okay. So in a nutshell, all you can say is that men are more action oriented when it comes to, you know,
Yeah.
active listening, and
Okay.
women are person oriented because women, they tend to focus on the person talking,
Mm-hmm.
and men will tend to focus on what is being said.
Okay.
So that is what I want to say. But both of us can be good listeners. But in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
and based on what I've gathered so far, it goes in men's favor that men tend to listen more attentively than women who are ready to fire 50 million questions.
Men don't pay attention when the women. Where are all my women here? The men are killing me.
The women agree. They understand. They agree. They agree
No,
with
it's
us.
not. It's not like that. You guys don't like pay attention when we are talking, and the women can attest to that. You like give us half of your attention and use the other half to be doing something else, whether you are watching TV, listening to the news, playing games, something. You don't pay like you don't give us that. Some of you don't give us that 100% attention that we deserve or we need when we are talking with you guys. Let's listen to what Mr. Agbete said. He said, I guess no one will consider listening to a woman who frequently makes noise with no reason. Sometimes we walk away for the sake of peace. Oh, I know they're yampa. Oh,
Mhm.
the women see. So please send in your comment. Today we are talking
See,
about men
the
and
women,
women.
the men are winning. Oh, the men are
No,
firing left and right.
the men won't win. We're not going to allow you guys to win. No way. Yeah, Mamu win because you always have divided attention when we are speaking. So we need your when a woman is talking to a man, okay. We as much as say, yeah, you guys at the back of your mind, you think, oh, the usual stuff. Sometimes you be like, oh, at the corner no become one say, but until say yes or no, yeah, answer to whatever we are discussing with you, which munya daji mubeni yatina say to talk about it. We want you to serve us your attention. We need undivided attention. We need that 100%, like you said. You talk when someone is talking to you, you listen eyeball to eyeball. That is that attention, and not just looking at the person eyeball to eyeball, but you contributing to whatever discussion is going on. You are like when if there is a concern or something, you are also like adding up to it, but don't be like oh no, yes, no kind of thing, right? You don't like contribute anything when it comes to when a woman is talking to you. So
Adia Pena, why Adia? I know you are holding the fort down for the women, but
yeah.
um, we know you're doing well. But the men are good listeners than the women, just so you know.
Okay. So, okay. For now, we hold on to that. Mr. Kofi, for now, we are going to hold on to that. If the men are
Okay.
good than which I think it's
Yay!
I'm giving you the green
That makes
light
you a
here.
good listener because you
We
listened.
are holding on to that, Mr. Gbete. Are you also holding on that men are good listeners? As for you, you are going to say yes, so it's fine. But Mr. Kofi,
Okay. Mhm.
what are some of the advantages of being a good listener? What comes out of being a good listener?
Oh, Mami, Ohima Adiapena, this is a very, very good question. This is very, very, very good. And this, it's not even about being a man or being a woman. It can be in
Mhm.
any situation, right? It can be in relationship, especially. It can be professionally, right? It can be talking to the family in a family setting, in whatever area or in ever space you find yourself.
Mhm.
Being a good listener is very, very, very important. That one,
Yes.
there's no two ways about that.
Mhm.
It's not, it has even nothing to do with being a bad listener because you can be a bad listener at home, but when you go to office, you can be a good listener. So my point is you have to be a good listener. And this,
Okay.
there are lots of advantages that goes with it, but I'm just gonna share a few. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, in a relationship, let me start, which is very, very important. Okay.
Mhm.
In a relationship, because I know most of us that listen are in a relationship and we're always talking about relationships. So let me start with that. In a relationship, being a good listener, the man or the woman, right? Both of you being good listeners, help create better understanding, right?
Mhm.
And it helps build trust,
Okay.
understanding, and trust in a relationship when you're a good listener. So that's the number one advantage. Okay. Now, if we listen to each other, it makes the communication clear. The conversation is clearer and it cuts down on any confusion that you might have in our minds, and it even
Mhm.
improves on our ability to solve problems. So let's
Okay.
say if there's something going on between us, okay, and we are both good listeners, we are able to what? Cut down on any confusion that is going on. You understand me, I will understand you, and we're able to solve the problems,
Right.
right? It
Mhm.
encourages personal development and can even help you become better listener even at work. That's why they said what charity begins at home.
Cool.
If you want to be a good listener, you start practicing it at home with your
Mm.
spouse or with your partner,
With
couples,
your
with your
children.
children, with your family, with your in your
Mhm.
neighborhood. If
Mhm.
you're a good listener, it can help you become a good listener even at work. Okay. So
Mhm.
anything that happens at home, it helps you become better when you are not at home.
Yeah.
So
It's
again, in a relationship, being a good listener improves the relationship. They are stronger bonds. Both of you have stronger bonds because I trust everything you say.
Mhm.
You trust everything that I say. When couples or partners listen to each other carefully, it shows that what they care and respect each other, and it helps build connection and goodwill. And this, you can carry this outside to your professional settings or to your workplace or wherever you find yourself.
Mhm.
Okay. Another advantage of being a good listener is it reduces conflict, right?
Yeah.
If you're a good listener, you want to solve the problem. You don't want to focus on whatever conflict that's going on. I
Mm.
know some women want to hold the fault for years, and every time they want to bring it back. Okay, some
Mm.
women. I didn't say all women, and I know some men also want to always point to something that the woman did.
Yeah.
Good listeners don't have time to go always focus on the past. They always want to find a way to solve the problem. So, good
Mm.
listeners, what I want to say is that if you're a good listener, you can help your partner, your family, your relationship, wherever you are, to reduce any conflict there because you're always looking for ideas to solve the problem. Now, build also one thing another advantage of being a good listener is what it helps, like I said, I already said it, build trust, especially at work. If you're a
Mm.
good listener, your boss knows that when I tell you something, you're going to listen to and you're going to do exactly what is being said. Your board, once there's a trust, when your boss trusts you, you know how it works at work, right? If you're
Mhm.
not a good listener, you always have problem because nobody trusts you. They can't. If you say you're
Yeah.
going to be there at 1 o'clock, Oh boy, there he goes. You come and say all kinds of things. If they give you a simple task, oh boy, you do all kinds of things because you are not listening. So being a good listener can help build trust at home, in a relationship, at work, in any way, wherever you find yourself, right?
Yeah.
Even if you are not speaking the same language, your ability to pay attention to try and understand what the other person is saying can build trust. Even across cultures, it can build
Mm,
trust, right? Now, also being a good listener is very, very important when it comes to better communication because
mm,
it helps avoid what? Misunderstanding. You and I are on the same page, especially partners, couples. Listen to me. It's always important to be on the same page. When you are discussing something, man, bring your undivided attention.
mm-hmm.
And women, please bring your undivided attention and take away your emotional thinking cap, and both of you just focus and have clear communication to avoid misunderstanding. And
Mm.
that leads to what? Clearer and more effective communication. Most of the times, all this misunderstanding is because both of us we are not listening to each other and we don't trust each other, right?
Mm, mm-hmm.
The other good thing or advantage of being a good listener is, and this is to the men. Men, I'm number one. I want to talk to myself. Kofi Opokuapo. I know I can be empathetic, but I'm not naturally empathetic. And I know men are not naturally empathetic. But this is what we can do. Being a good listener can actually help you increase being
And
empathetic. It can increase empathy. So, men, this area there, I know we fall short because we are not built like
Mr.
that.
Betty, are you listening?
We are not built like that. And so the ability to listen can help us be more
Mr. Betty
empathetic,
and Mr. Nati,
right?
I hope all of you are
Okay.
listening. Mm,
And because the thing is, if you really care about each other, if you really care for the person that is talking, whoever, wherever the setting is, if we care about each other, especially their feelings, then we need to develop good listening habits.
mm,
It can help us grasp how the other person is feeling if we can put ourselves in their shoes and see things from their point of view, from their perspective. It helps us become more empathetic. We can really empathize what they're saying and be more compassionate. All right. So this is to the men and also to the women that are not. Some women are not empathetic. Oh. Some women, almost whatever you say, they don't care. They don't care a hoot. They don't. They won't farm who cry. Right. Women are
yeah.
naturally that, but they can tune that off. But we, the men,
Mm,
we need to learn to be more empathetic. And also, I touched on professional, professional settings. Like, if you're a good listener, it helps build your professional growth. Right. In the
mm.
professional sense, if you're a good listener, you gain knowledge, you gain understanding because when you listen to others, it can help you learn more and gain more important aside, especially at work. If you don't listen to others and you think you know all, listen to me. We, the men that we think we know all, we don't want to listen. That makes you a bad listener because the
Mm-hmm.
reason is no one knows everything. With it, and also, regardless of how experienced and expert you are in your field, you still need to listen. You still need to be a good listener because you're able to see things from other perspectives and other angles, and you're able to add that to your knowledge even to become better. Especially those of us that are supervisors or managers at work. Even if you're a manager or director, you don't have all the answers. You can be working for 20 hours, even you're an expert. There's one thing that you may be doing well, but if you can listen to other perspectives, somebody
Yeah.
can say something that can even make whatever you know well even be more effective and efficient
Yeah. And easier.
and easier. And so
Mm-hmm.
we have to be good listeners. These are all advantage of what being a good listener. I'm still talking about a professional sense, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if you're a good listener at work, you know what it does? It increases productivity because
Yeah.
you and your team are on the same page. Once you and your
Mm-hmm.
team are on the same page, productivity is efficient, is increased, and then like there's work. The workplace is what? It's cordial. People
Mm-hmm.
said, I love to work here because my boss is
Yeah.
so good. My boss
Mm-hmm.
listens to me. Some people say, oh, that boss, he doesn't know anything. He will not
Yeah.
listen to you. The boss will not
Mm-hmm.
listen. He doesn't know what he's doing. And yet the workplace is bazaar. It's because the boss is not a good listener. Because
Yeah.
if you're a good listener, it can help you increase productivity, right? You can spot potential issues early when you're able to listen and make informed choices to boost productivity. So that's an advantage of being a good listener. And then also being a good listener can what? Can help you grow your career,
Mm.
because all the people that are in the area, they say good things about you. My boss is good, productivity is up. Your managers see it, the supervisors they see. What do you think is gonna happen? They're gonna give you a post. They're gonna raise you. I mean, you can go
Really?
to the next level. You can even get increase. You can get a raise, whatever it is. So it helps career growth, right? It will help you succeed at work, and you gain more skills and knowledge if you're a good listener. And here's one thing that is really, really good. This one, it can be anywhere: home, family, work, community, church, wherever. Being a good listener can reduce stress.
Yeah.
Sometimes we
Very.
take on unnecessary stress because we are not listening. And
Mm.
because we are not listening, we don't have all the answers. And then we stress about simple things. Because one way now, if you're solving a problem and that problem is not solved because of your old way of thinking, you're not listening, you get stressed out because you want the whatever it is to be solved, and it's not being solved because your way of thinking is archaic, it doesn't apply,
Yeah.
and you're not listening. You stress
Mm.
at work.
Mhm.
In the
That's true.
family, if you're a man and you want everybody to listen to you, and what you're saying your children are not following because it's your way or nothing, and the children are not listening, your wife is not listening, you bring a lot of stress to yourself. And
Mm.
so is the woman. The woman, if you're not listening to your husbands, if you're not listening to your friends, I mean your family, and you think whatever you say is final, if nobody start listening to you, you bring stress to yourself. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things we can do to avoid or reduce stress, and that is just be a good listener, right? Because when somebody feels like you are really listening, you reduce your stress and you feel better overall, right?
Hmm.
And being a good listener can also help improve decision making. By
Yeah.
listening carefully, you can gather more details and think about different viewpoints, which can help you make better decisions. And Ohima, finally, there's a lot of them, but finally, I want to say being a good listener help you personally as a person. You have a personal growth. If you listen well, you can become more aware of yourself and help you understand yourself and others around you very well. And so there's a lot of advantages, but what I've listed so far is some of the things or some of the advantages that I feel if you're a good listener, it brings to us. Thank you.
Thank you. And to add to what you just said, like in a professional settings, for instance, like some bosses that listen to well, you see that some of your workers can even come to you and they be telling you about their personal stuff. When
Yes,
say for instance they have issues at home and certain things, they need someone to talk to. Because you're a good listener, they can come to you and open up to you and talk to you with their problems and stuff like
that
that.
is a good point, Ohima. That is 100% correct. Yes,
It's not
that is
just
very,
like
very true.
but even like just individual, like just individuals. If you are a good listener, someone out there somewhere sees that, oh, this person listens well, they can come to you and share their problems or ideas or maybe something, anything with you. And then
Yes,
there's
yes.
advice or
They, they,
something that,
they know, they know that you wouldn't have all the answers, right? But the
yeah,
fact
but
that you are a good listener, they
yeah.
wouldn't want to come and share with you. They just want you
Mhm.
to listen. Sometimes people just want people to do what? People just want
Listen to
those, I
them.
mean, to
Mhm.
listen. They know you don't have this solution to their problem, but the
Yeah.
fact that you're a good listener, they just want to
Mhm.
come and share with you. And
Yeah.
sometimes sharing the problem or the issue, the half of the burden is even, like you just get some
Right.
relief just by talking about it. But you want
Yeah.
somebody who can listen and not be
Listen.
judgmental,
Mhm.
just to have the time to listen to you. and to release some of the stress or the pressure,
Mhm.
right? So I agree with you. That's a good contribution. Thank you, Ohima. You are a good
Thank
listener.
you.
You are a good
I
listener,
am a
Ohima.
good listener. Well, Mr. Agbete said that's why I said that for one to pay attention to someone, that individual speaking, that is a wife or a husband or a boss. Okay, not too sure about that.
Okay.
He
Okay.
also said should be making sense, no continuous lies, inconsistencies in plans, not living by your words. So
That is
yeah,
true.
that's very
That is
true.
true. Mr. Gbete, that is a good point.
That
That
is
is
very, very true.
100%. You have to be consistent with your words.
Mhm.
You have to be there when they say you have to be there. If the plan is plan A and all everybody agrees to that plan A, don't change your mind. Oh, I changed my mind. Wait, all of us just agreed that we are going to do this. How come you have changed your mind? It means you're not a good listener. And Mr. Agbete is 100% correct. It happens at
Mhm.
work, it happens at home, it happens in the community. And
Happens
so
everywhere.
that would make you a bad listener. And so,
Mhm.
Mr. Agbete, thank you so much. That is a very good point. We have to be consistent. We have to be truthful. We have to be on time. We have to stay on point. We just have to be truthful. That is
That's
one
it.
of the good advantages of being a good listener. So thank you, Mr. Agbete. That is very spot on. Appreciate that.
Well, our listeners and our viewers, wherever you are, as you are watching the Adia Pena Show, thank you so much for coming. As usual, I'm here with my very own person, Mr. Kofi, discussing what men and women, which one of us is a good listener. And right about now, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, um, share it with us and we will read it loud for us to discuss it right here.
Mhm.
And you can also share this production so people can also learn. This platform is just for us to learn. We come here, we are not experts, we are not
Yes.
learned than nobody. It's just our personal life experiences, things that we have learned from other people, and we come here and we discuss. And kudos to our listeners and our viewers. You always come in here to share with us some concerns, comments, and make this live broadcast very interesting. So thank you very much, Mr. Kofi. Now that we have discussed the advantages of being a good listener, are there any disadvantages of not being a good listener?
That is also a good question. That's actually a good follow-up question, right?
Yeah,
Because we in life, we always say that there's the good side and there's what? The bad side,
the bad
right?
side.
And
Yeah.
so, but we try to always focus on the good side
Mm-hmm.
to improve, and the bad side, whatever is not bad, we try to what also think about it and get and make things better. So there are advantages of being a good listener, and there are disadvantages also of also being a good listener. Or in other words, if you are not a good listener, then you are what?
A
A
bad
bad
listener.
listener, right? But we are not
Mm-hmm.
saying that. We are just saying that you can be a good listener. There's advantage of being a good listener, and there's also the disadvantages. Okay, being a
Mm-hmm.
disadvantage, that means you're a bad listener. There's the disadvantage of being a good listener. There's a disadvantages that comes with being even a good listener. Okay,
Okay.
so it doesn't mean you're a bad listener, but they are
Mm-hmm.
just disadvantages. Okay, now the first disadvantages of being a good listener is the potential for you to burn out. And I'm going to
Mm.
start with what you said, what you ended about the fact that if you have a boss that is a good listener, or you have somebody that is a very good listener in the community, in the society, especially, I'm going to go to the churches. Look, pastors that are good listeners, they don't want to say it, but they sometimes burn out.
Oh
Hear me out.
yeah.
Let me explain.
Mm.
Now, being an active listener, right, especially in tough emotional situations, can be really tiring and
Mm.
sometimes might cause you fatigue or burnout. Think about it. Pastors are always hearing very high emotional issues at
Yeah.
home from
Yeah.
families.
Mm-hmm.
And because the pastors are very good listeners, mommy, they get tired.
Mm. Okay.
But they can't say it because you have to listen to everything. And so, because they are humans, they get burnt out, but they can't say it. So that is one disadvantage of being a good listener. You can burn out. You know why? Because your human nature naturally gets tired. But that doesn't mean that I'm telling the pastors not to be good listener, because your call is totally different. Your call is both spiritual and physical. That is why you have to be spiritually powerful for your spiritual side to support your physical side. And so the pastors are always focusing on the physical side. You will burn out faster if you don't have the spiritual side to kind of support your physical side, because the things that you hear from church members sometimes it's too much for you to bear.
Yeah.
And that is because sometimes you are a good listener. So as a good listener, you have the potential to burn out. Okay? That is it. But I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I'm just saying that is the disadvantage of being a good listener. Okay? You can also have what we call emotional fatigue as a good listener. Okay? Or even within couples or partners, there's this saying, me cry in my breath, I feel in my breath. Do you know how we say that?
Yeah.
You know, I feel crying in my breath. Then me cry, I mean, yeah. It's just like you don't know what else to do. It's not because you're not listening. You listen, you do everything, but whatever it is being said is kept being repeated because what bread, and this is the reason why. If you are always taking people's problems and feelings, right, it can be hard on your emotions, mommy. Especially if you don't take care of yourself too. And this I also see it in pastors. I'm not just hammering on the pastors. Their pastors' work is so important. Even look, counselors, psychologists, like all those people that deal with high emotional people's emotions and feelings, mommy. If they don't take care of themselves, they get emotional fatigue. That's why they all have to. They have things that they do to refresh before the next day they go and see another set of people. Otherwise, they'll burn out. Because never be on out here, mommy. You can't believe the things that people go through. And sometimes when they start sharing it, the emotions, the raw emotion, the kind of sometimes they even like all the things that goes on. You, the person listening, say, "Nyame anya w'adom a," and you are not like you don't take care of yourself very well, you will burn out.
Yeah.
And so the disadvantage of being a good listener, or sometimes what I'm saying, you can get emotional fatigue, right? And this is also something that I think is true because I know my pastor didn't tell me this directly, but sometimes I feel that people are taking advantage of how good my pastor is. My pastor is such a great listener. So I feel like people are just using him as a dumping ground. They take advantage of how good he listens and they are constantly calling and saying, look, they can say the same thing and they, Ochinama for pastor. Pastor say, let's pray for you. Pastor, this is what's happening. Pastor said, okay, I'm bumpire. Near bumpire. The same thing he's gonna call Pastor in the afternoon, in the evening, tomorrow morning. The same thing over and over. And he's not the only one. Pastor is also listening to everybody else, and not just pastors, counselors, psychologists, religious leaders, community leaders, like people that are good listeners. One of the things you have to be careful about is that you can become a dumping ground, and people will just want to dump their issues on you. Because the thing is, it's not they're just doing it on purpose. They just want somebody to listen. And because you're a good listener, they just come and talk 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 and talk. All right, mommy, it can be tiring. And here's the thing: people can take advantage of you that listens well and uses you constantly to complain and get support from you without giving anything back. How many people pray for their pastors after they call their pastor and say all the emotional things and pastor support them, empathize with them? After their problem is solved, most of them even don't forget, they don't remember the pastor. That God should pray for them, renew them, replenish them, or the
What happened? Did we lose you, Mr. Kofi? I think Mr. Kofi is making sense here. Anything that someone wants to add to not being a good listener? Okay. All right, Mr. Agbete said should be making sense. No continuous. Oh, I think this is an old. Okay, I think we already talked about this. So I don't know where Mr. Kofi is right now. So I'm going to say a little to whatever he was trying to talk to us about, like not being a good listener, people burn out and all of that. So I think sometimes some of the things, I believe that one of the hardest thing that we can go through is going through some emotional problems and you don't have someone to talk to. So if you are going through emotional problems and you don't have, what happened to you?
What happened?
I don't know.
Oh,
You
I'm
just,
sorry.
your phone just went
My
off.
my 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 I think my line just went blank for some reason. So I apologize. I'm sorry, guys. I am sorry. Sometimes technology,
No
it
problem.
happens. So yes, so I am sorry. And so the last thing I want to say about the disadvantages of being
Mm,
a good listener is that it can be time consuming also, right? Sometimes you're a human, you need time with your family. You need time to hang out
yeah.
with your friends. You need time to be there and take care of your things. But sometimes non-stop people are calling you because you're a good listener. And so you have to hear all their issues. So if you are not the one that plans well and give yourself time for yourself, then you are constantly, you know, using your time. People are consuming your time. Like it's very, very time, consuming your time, and also you don't have the time to do anything for yourself. So being a good listener need a lot of focus, right? Because like I said, it can take a lot of time, and sometimes it can be tough when you have a busy schedule. So
Yeah.
make sure that we plan things out, and also make sure that we have time for ourselves. Okay. And finally, even though you're a good listener, there can be the risk of misinterpretation.
Mm,
Okay, you can sometimes, so if things are not done right, all right, active listening can sometimes cause misunderstanding or misinterpretations. And there are studies that have actually shown that. Okay. And so we had to be careful so that even though you are actively listening, you are also being what? Your understanding and your interpretations actually match whatever you are hearing and what are going on. And finally, be careful because, and this is also a disadvantage, because everybody comes to you with their issues and problems and you are listening and everything, there's the potential for judgment, right? Because a good listener might accidentally judge or form an opinion about the person speaking,
mm,
even while trying to listening carefully. Because you
that's
have the
true.
type that is always calling the pastor, always going to the counselor, always calling the church elder or doing these things. Question is, what is wrong with you yourself? Right? And you know what I just did? I'm beginning to form
Yeah.
an opinion about you because you are constantly calling me. So there's the potential for what? Judgment, even though we are good listeners. Okay. And so these are some of the disadvantages, a lot of them. But because of time, I'll just leave here. These are some of the disadvantages of being a good listener. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gbete. Thank you, Mr. Kofi. Mr. Gbete said, oh, my brother, you said it, or you said it right. Why continue to waste your time to someone whose message will not bring about good outcome? It will be a waste of time, which is very
Mr. Gbete,
so.
spot on. But we still have
Mr.
to be good
Mr. Kofi,
listeners.
you know,
So
sometimes when people are going through a lot of stuff, like most of us will like turn to our pastors and for whatever, if it's counseling, consultation, whatever it is, to discuss our problems with them. My question is,
Mhm.
who does the pastor also confines in? How do they, because they are humans, and as much as
Yes,
they are humans, they also have issues that they deal with. How
yes.
do they handle their personal problems
See,
besides it?
this is a very, very good question, mommy. And the answer for me to say is that untimi mama into change. That is why women are so critical in every situation.
Mm,
We're gonna have time. Look, I'm not a pastor, but I still gonna have time and do some spiritual thinking sometimes. I can be a little bit. Look, there's a reason why God created everything and created women last. There's
mm-hmm.
a reason why.
Why?
There's we're not gonna start on this show. Today is about being a good listener, but there's a reason why.
Mm.
Women are the most powerful thing that God ever created. We just don't know that
Yes.
yet. No,
Glad you
no,
saying
Mami,
that.
me,
You
I'm not
know that
saying
a
this.
lot of
I'm not
women
saying
don't
this to
know.
make your head big or
No, no,
to
no,
make the
no.
woman's
Me,
head
I
big.
know. You don't even
Okay,
have to tell me. I know.
wait, wait.
I know.
But
So,
society has misinterpreted it. Society, there's things that maybe we need to start talking about it. But I'm not saying this because this is my opinion, right? Now
no,
you are
it's
asking
true.
about
It's a fact.
who should the pastor go to?
Uh-huh.
The pastor, first of all, the most powerful person the pastor should go to right there is a good woman. Hear me out. Hear me out. I'm not talking about a
Mm,
woman. I'm qualifying it because there are some pastors, their wives even make their ministry worse than anything.
mm-hmm.
So I'm
That's true.
talking about a good woman. A good woman.
Mm.
Bible says that a good woman is more valuable than riches. If a
Yeah.
pastor has a good woman that supports his ministry,
Mm,
she's the first person the pastor goes to, right? Even counselors and uh, you know um um this all these specialists that people go to all the time,
mhm.
they need partners or people that they also confine in and share with, because you have too much load. You just need to share the load, right? So as a pastor, the good wife should be the first go-to person to also share and discuss. And what the woman does is not to take it outside and one concern. People are talking to your pastor and the pastor comes and say, then you become the judgmental. And then when the people come to church, what do we need church or say you are talking, you are gossiping about them. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a good woman. A good woman that will support the husband's ministry and pray so that the spiritual aspect, she handled the spiritual aspect and pray and help the pastor or the husband's ministry be solid by relieving the pressure on the pastor. When the pastor comes home, a good woman will what? Massage the pastor
Mm,
physically and spiritually. Hear me out. Massaging physically is actually doing your job, but spiritually, you will massage your pastor by praying for her. I mean, for
mm.
him, that everything that he's hearing, God can help him deal with it. Don't be a pastor's wife. The all that you do about is concern. You hear people's things, and instead of praying for you,
And then
the-
stressing the pastor on the side.
exactly. So the pastor
Mm,
can turn to that woman. Another person the pastor can turn to is some of the elders of the church. God put some people in the church that are very, very strategic, physically and spiritually,
okay.
or some of the very old women in the church. Okay?
Mm,
I know that these days in America, we don't regard grandmothers and grandpas. But somebody that has endured life for 70 plus years is a working experience.
mm-hmm.
And they can go that the things that they've seen and heard, we cannot begin to imagine it. But if we can strategically position them in the church, old men and women, they can
Yeah.
be the go-to resources to help a lot of these problems that we have. But we all think it's only the pastor. The pastor is just one man,
Mm-hmm.
but God places other people around him to be the source. Remember in the Bible says, "Say Moses bra." There's Joshua, and there's another man that raises Joshua's
Yeah.
hands up.
Mm.
There is a spiritual significance to that. The people in the church, I'm talking about the elders. I'm not talking about what they're calling. Some of you just go to church, you take people's issues, and no, I'm not talking. I'm talking about people that are serious to help. You make pastors' work easier by helping the pastor, because the pastor is a good listener, but the pastor also need to share the load. Please position yourself, be strategic. Whether you're a spiritual father or you're a counselor, whatever job that you do, that you're a good listener, you need good resources around you to share for them to help you, because trust me, you don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
But those people that you strategically put around you that have full of knowledge, they have experience in life, they can help you even tell you what to do to be able to help all these people that are coming to you. Again, I'm not talking about people that just don't care. Now, if you take your time, there are people in the church that they care. Somebody can be 30 years old, mommy,
Mhm.
and when the person speaks, the person is full of wisdom and knowledge. You can
That's true.
tap into that person as a resource. I'm
That's
talking about
very
pastors, or I'm talking about counselors. Because there are some of the things that you hear, it doesn't matter your degree, that your PhD will not solve it.
Mhm.
If you're a pastor, it doesn't matter your religious, your spiritual level.
level. Yeah.
Some things you will not solve it, but
Mm.
God can use somebody else to help you. So you
Mm.
need to be strategic, right?
Mhm.
Pastors, ministers, elders, whoever. There are some people God can place in your life or in the
Yeah.
community that they can be a good resource. So to
Mm.
answer your question, after the pastor hears all these things, pastors, if you are listening to me, God bless you. Begin to find these people to can align yourself with to
Yeah.
make your ministry easier. You don't have all the answers. And if you're a pastor that I
Mhm.
think you have all the answers, first of all, you've even lost your ministry in the first place. Any
Kudos
pastor
to
that think God talks to him alone, he's not supposed to be in the pulpit, because
that's
God
true.
doesn't talk to one person,
Hmm.
right?
And
There's a
I think
reason
that's
why
why,
God has a lot of
yeah.
things in place.
And I think
So
that's why we also have the different types of spiritual, is it the fruit
ministry,
of the spirit or the
not of
ministries,
yeah,
right? That's
yeah.
why
To
God
some
didn't
pastors, to some this,
just
to
one,
some
yeah, just
that, to
one to
some
cover
this.
everything. So you
Yes,
can also utilize whatever is within your comfort. Like you said, that someone might be even 30 years, but the wisdom that God has granted to this person
yes.
is far different from you being there as the pastor. So you can also
Mm-hmm.
tap into that, and then so thank you
Yes.
very much. Mr. Gbete, Enewure Nipa, thank you for your questions and your comment. He said, we believe as a pastor, the Bible should be your voice to hear. This is
Yes.
very true.
That is true, but Mr. Bete, most of the times the pastor has to read the Bible from cover to cover, so they don't even go to it again.
Mm.
But you're right, the pastor should always go to the Bible. But the point is, you read the same verse, you get this perspective. But somebody else can read the same verse and give you a different perspective that you
Yep.
can add to that and enrich yourself. So even though they
Mm.
had to go to the Bible, God has also put people in their places, in places where they can also enrich them with not only biblical knowledge, but their physical knowledge and experience and understanding and perspectives that will help enrich whatever solutions or whatever that he needs to hear to help the people, for him or her being a good listener. And this is not, I'm not talking to only men as pastors. If you're a woman pastor, you also need a man, or your partner, whatever it is. I'm saying you need a go-to person, like a strategically positioned partner or resource person that you can also go to and share all the things that you hear. So together, because remember, two ears are better than one.
Mhm.
There's a reason why God Himself, the creator of all things, have elders around His throne. God even need elders
Mm. God
to take
Himself.
decisions together. Think about it. Not men, not yet human beings. God
Mm.
Himself have elders around His throne
Mhm.
that He consult every day. He has the Holy Spirit. God is not, even though God, look, so we need to start thinking holistically. So whether you're a spiritual person or a physical person, the point is you need other people, strategic people in your
Mm.
life.
Anyhow.
Not just anybody.
Mhm.
People that would help you grow in whatever capacity you are doing, like help you bring positive impact, is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Thank
To
you.
make whatever your life, yes. Sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Agbete says second source should be the wise elders in the church. Yes,
Yes,
just like
we talked about that. Yes, Mr.
ah,
Gbete. Today, Mr. Gbete is on fire today.
Mr. Agbete said no woman can be a pastor anyway. Okay, that's another thing to talk about.
That's for another
And
topic. But Mr. Gbete,
so
that's your
Mr.
perspective. But there are actually women in the Bible that God used, and we
Yeah,
can talk about that.
yeah,
The being
so,
pastor is just a title, so
yeah.
I don't even want to go to the back. Anyway,
Yeah, and then Mr.
thank you for
Agbete, this
that.
one we will keep it for now. We will discuss that another time. So,
Yes,
Mr. Frank, thank you so much for all the knowledge that you've imparted to us this evening. I really want to appreciate you for your time. That whenever I call you, you are here to like discuss with us and everything. So, I want to ask you your final words as we have discussed men and women. Now we've realized nobody is a good listener. Nobody is a bad listener. Both men and women have their best outs and then their bad outs. So, what is your final words to our viewers?
my dear Pena, I was thinking we are going to have like a 45-minute show. We already passed the 1 hour mark, so I'm not going to say
I know,
anything much.
right?
All I'm saying is that men and women can both be good listeners, right? Men and women can both be good listeners.
Mm. Mr.
But
Agbete is saying, I wish we could also speak. So going forward,
oh,
from next week, we will have our phone lines available. So if you want to speak, you can call in and then share your thoughts. So thank you, Mr.
that
Agbete.
is a good idea because like, we always encourage people to, bring in their comments, suggestions. Now I think if you can add the live phone lines to it, it
Yeah,
will
we'll
make it more
do.
lively. So, Mr. Gbete, this is a very good suggestion. We hope
Yeah,
next week people can call in. And because I don't sometimes I even don't want to hear me alone talking and talking and talking. If more people can come in, it will be more fine. Call
yeah,
in, share your suggestions, your concerns, and ideas. So that is a good one, Mr.
yeah.
Gbete.
So
That's a good one.
effective next week,
Okay.
going forward, we'll have our phone lines available.
Yes.
Mr. Kofi, we are
Okay.
listening to final words, please.
Okay. So Mami Adia Pena, one is what you were talking. He said studies have shown that. So I agree with you. And also, may I would say many people think that women are usually better listeners than men, right?
That's the
But
fact.
but studies have also shown that both men and women can be good listeners. Is what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there are studies that also tell you that men are good listeners. And for me on this show, my opinion is that men are good listeners, but women can
My
also be good
opinion
listeners,
is
right?
men are good
So
listeners.
studies have shown that both men and women can be good listeners, right? As well as bad
Yeah,
listeners.
yeah.
So what I'm gonna say is in closing is that how well someone listens depends on personal factors and
Mm,
what they have learned from their culture, from their society, from wherever they find themselves. Sometimes that actually plays a huge role, right?
mm,
Um, some research suggests that women normally tend to focus more on the person, like I said, when they listen, while men tend to be more focused on what is being said. And so women are more seem to be more caring and in touch with their feelings. And so it makes people think that they are better listeners. That is how they are created. And so please use that to be a good listener. All right. And
mm.
men are also viewed as what? More at see, we can go there later, but I was gonna say something about that, but we're gonna go there later. More men are also created, or men are naturally viewed as more focused on getting things done and solving the problem. And so we are in tune with that aspect of our nature. And so sometimes you might think that men are not emotional or men are not empathetic. But in a nutshell, like I said, men are more action oriented and women are more person really oriented. There's no one that is a better listener than the other.
Okay.
And so men are good listeners and women are good listeners. But on this Idea Pena show tonight, according to Kofi Opoku, men are good listeners than women. Thank you.
And you have a support here. You have a support here. This Reda said men are good listeners, so you
Yes.
sure know your about when about. I say men are good, but whatever the situation is, we are all good listeners. So
Yes.
thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming here with us as usual. We meet here every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what we do here is we learn basic things about life. I'm not a professional. Mr. Kofi is not a professional. Whoever comes on my show, except we have a few of them that are professionals. We are all learning. We are all sharing experiences. And thank you, our viewers, that you always come in here with your concerns, your questions, and whatever you have to make this show a successful one. So I just want to say thank you. Meet us here every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you, everybody, for coming. Mr. Kofi, I just want to say thank you very, very much. We are ending our show today. Effective next week, we are going to have our phone lines open. So if you want to call in or whatever you have to share with us, you can call in and we will keep the discussion going. Thank you, everybody, and have a blessed evening. And once again, it's happy, what's it called again? Happy
Friday?
August. It's 12th month, and I'm really excited about it. Thank
And
you,
please,
everybody.
Idea Pena, can you give me 1 minute to do something, please? I want to let our viewers and our listeners and everybody that's watching this show that support Idea Pena show. I want to tell you something. Sunday is Ohima Idea Pena's birthday. So I want to say happy birthday to the one and only Ohima Idea Pena in advance.
Thank you.
I pray that God continue to bless you for the good job that you are doing and impacting lives through this media. So happy birthday. I hope that people can really, wish you happy birthday and help. We're all gonna help celebrate this special, birthday of yours. God bless you for everything that you're doing.
Amen.
Happy
Amen.
birthday.
I receive in Jesus' name. Amen. Bye-bye, everybody. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.